Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Likes Books. Today I have another book review for you, and that is for Star Wars Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad by Christie Golden. This is one of the Star Wars canon books. It is the tie-in book for Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2017. This is one I was really interested in reading because, first of all, I had heard generally pretty decent things about it, and also because it is specifically a tie-in to the Battlefront games, which is something I just think is kind of cool. I did read the tie-in book for the first game, Twilight Company by Alexander Freed. I read that last year, towards the end of last year, and didn't really care for it too much. Not that it was bad, it just didn't really do anything for me. I thought that it was very kind of forgettable and not that interesting. I have a review for it on my channel if you're interested, but I didn't really care for that book too much, so I was hoping I would enjoy this more, especially considering that I had heard a lot of good things about it, and also I thought that it might have been interesting because Battlefront 2, unlike Battlefront 1, actually had a story campaign with it that featured the characters and kind of like the main character here on the cover, Iden Versio, as well as some others from this book. It had a campaign following those characters and all that kind of thing. So it was interesting that they were specifically tying the story from this tie-in book into that game, whereas Battlefront 1 didn't have a story to it, so they just wrote a book that tied into it based on the locations that were shown and things like that, focusing on the Imperial era, all that kind of thing. So I was interested in reading this one, and unfortunately, I did like it more than Twilight Company, at least, but this one generally didn't do a whole lot for me. There were parts of it that I did really like. There were things about it that I thought were really interesting, but in general, it was kind of not a super engaging book for me. Still decent, though, so at least there's that. As far as things that I did enjoy about this book, I really like the premise of this book, which is this book focuses, the main character of this book is Iden Versio, who is selected to be the leader of Inferno Squad, which is basically this elite squadron of Imperial, like, military people. So there's this four people in this squad that are selected, and they are basically sent on special missions and things like that. And so in this book, they are selected to be a part of this squad and are sent on a handful of different missions before being sent to the main kind of part of this book, which is to infiltrate the Dreamers, which this book takes place I think just shortly after the events of A New Hope. And so this takes place after like the events of Rogue One as well, in which Saw Gerrera, who is one of the rebel characters, is killed. And so the Dreamers are basically his band of rebels, and the Inferno Squad is tasked with infiltrating them and kind of defeating them and things like that. And so they're sent to do that. I thought that was really interesting. I thought the idea of having this elite squad of Imperials being not only getting the perspective of Imperials, which first of all is kind of interesting, getting that Imperial military perspective. I tend to enjoy that in Star Wars books, such as in the case of something like Lost Stars, but also getting to see that squadron also performing these kinds of missions of infiltrating and kind of trying to sneakily kind of get their mission completed, and also infiltrating specifically this band of rebels, I thought would be really interesting. And it was an interesting premise, and it led to some interesting things throughout the story. The plot in general didn't hugely grab me, but there were some parts of this book that I thought were really cool. There was several different missions that they went on, both as kind of the Inferno Squad and also as parts of this Dreamers group that they had infiltrated. And there were some missions that I thought were really interesting, some missions that really had some cool moments, some things that really were very like strong imagery, strong kind of theming to it, strong like, emotional reaction, I guess, things like that. All that stuff I think was done pretty well. There's some really strong moments in this book for me. This is one of those books where the overall story is not terribly memorable, but it does have some strong moments that I really enjoyed. So there is that. I also think that the characters generally, again, didn't hugely work for me, but were generally well done. There's a large cast of characters, and they're all kind of fun to see interact with each other, and especially given the situation that Inferno Squad is in this book, it was kind of interesting to see how they handled that. And also the action in this book is well done and well written and exciting, as I think it should be. However, the main thing that brings this one down for me is, as I said just a second ago, the characters and the plot were not super engaging to me. There were moments where I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed certain aspects of Iden Versio in this book. There's some really good moments with her in particular that I enjoyed. There's a couple moments with other squad mates that I really enjoyed. There are plot moments in here that I really liked. Some of the results of the missions that they're sent on, some of the events within those missions they're sent on, things like that I think are really good and really kind of stuck with me. Really kind of pulled a reaction out of me a little bit, but generally the characters overall were not super memorable to me. I couldn't really pick out a particular character in this book that I was like, oh, I really liked this character. They were all generally done fine, but didn't super connect with me. Same thing with the plot in general. Like, there were moments in it that I really enjoyed, but overall I was not terribly engaged in what was going on. I liked the setup. I thought the setup was interesting. I thought that a lot of the individual events were kind of interesting, but just the general plot of this book never really drew me in a whole lot. And that really is, those two things are really the main issues of this book for me. Is, you know, there was bits and pieces that I really liked, but the overall just didn't really work for me hugely. It was okay. I enjoyed parts of the book, so I was able to keep reading it and still had a decent time with it, but just the overall, like, this book to me is one of those ones that feels like I enjoyed parts of it while I was reading it, but now that I finished it, it's probably not going to be one that's going to stick with me and be super memorable. I think more so than Twilight Company, but not by a huge amount. So that generally is pretty much all my thoughts on this book. I had a decent time with it, I enjoyed aspects of it, but overall just didn't do a whole lot for me. So overall, as far as a rating out of 10 that I would give Inferno Squad, I'd give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I was thinking like 6.5, somewhere in there. I do think the ending of the book is decently well done. I did enjoy parts of the ending of this book, so that kind of bumped it up a little bit, so I'd be comfortable giving this like a 6.5. But not quite something that I really enjoyed a whole lot or anything. Just a decent, okay kind of book. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say in this review. Let me know in the comments if you have read Inferno Squad, and if so, what you thought of it, if you prefer this one over Twilight Company, or if you like that one better. I have seen a decent amount of people actually say they really like Twilight Company, which honestly surprised me. So if you're one of those people that liked that book more than this one, let me know. And if this one did really connect with you, then that's great. Feel free to let me know that in the comments. I just, you know, I didn't care for this one too much, but maybe you did. So that is pretty much it for this video. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.